Well, we have presented a very comprehensive budget this morning, and I think that we've managed to hit on the most important things. Specifically, if we look at growth, we need to stimulate our economy. The reason why we don't have enough jobs in our economy is because we're not growing. So the DA has made a series of proposals on how we can accelerate economic growth in South Africa. So, for example, we can provide tax incentives to entrepreneurs, small businesses, medium businesses, and also, very importantly, we need to make the environment more conducive for business to flourish. So, for example, we need to focus on infrastructure. We know that we've got problems now with rail, with port. We have massive infrastructural problems. So the DA has proposed on how we would actually tackle that problem. So, for example, we believe that we need to have public-private partnerships, for example. It would be starting with Eskom, because that's where the biggest problem is in terms of all the electricity outages that are depriving businesses of the energy they need to flourish and grow, and really bringing our economy to its knees. So we need to focus on that in the first instance, and then we need to look at the state-owned enterprises to make sure there's no more bailouts for them, but that we can actually inject the private sector into them to make them more efficient and they can work. And if we can get those to work, then we can have the infrastructure on which we can build an economy that is conducive to creating sustainable jobs that will lift people out of poverty, and of course then help us to fight the never-ending cost of living crisis that South Africans are battling with. That we will specifically look at. For example, we will make sure that vulnerable South Africans are supported, so that we can, for example, increase the child support grant, because we think it's necessary, because 5 million children in South Africa are starving today, according to the Nelson Mandela Children's Fund, and that's completely unacceptable in a country that's actually a rich country, and we're only battling now because our ANC government has chosen the wrong policies. So we will look at supporting vulnerable South Africans. We will most definitely, when we are government, we will cut the fuel tax to make it less expensive for transportation and therefore food. We will also expand the zero VAT rated basket of food so that it's less expensive for people to put food onto their tables. So we have a full range of support for vulnerable South Africans. We have an energy plan to make sure that we can get our economy's wheels moving. And also, very importantly, we have a very good plan in terms of managing debt. Government has a mountain of debt. It keeps going up, and the minister most likely tomorrow is going to announce that he's going to raid the Reserve Bank's contingency reserve. So what he wants to do is to take at least half of that reserve at the moment and then pay off some of the debt that's been accumulated. But it's not going to make any difference. It's like a household that is so terribly indebted, no matter how much money you put into it, you can't really resolve it. You have to structurally change. And that's the same as our national economy. So we would certainly not support the minister raiding the reserve of the Reserve Bank. And also, we would not support tax increases. The DA has got a very clear plan. You do not need to increase taxes. In fact, we can cut them, because we can cut the fuel levy and we can expand the zero-rated VAT basket of food. So I think the whole concept that we've had a look at, we've looked at the structure, we've said, well, where are the fault lines in the economy? What needs to be attended to? It is growth, it is the bloated public sector wage bill, and if we can sort that out, we can reduce on the millionaire managers who are not productive. We can cut expenditure there, stop bailing out the state-owned enterprises, which also cuts back on expenditure. That will not necessitate then tax increases, and then we can support the most vulnerable. And also, very crucially, the DA will be introducing legislation that will create scorpions too, because we need to fight corruption. The reason why our economy isn't growing, also amongst the reasons, is the fact that it is riddled with corruption, and we are grey-listed because of that, and government is not doing anything to sort that out. So we have a comprehensive plan on all of those. So the DA believes that when we do become the government after the election, we'll be well equipped to rescue our economy from this failed government. We'll be able to take immediate steps, and we already have as people saw on Saturday, they saw our manifesto. We also have a very comprehensive plan of when we get into government, what we are going to do on the very first day, so that we can start sorting out this problem, because it is unacceptable that people in South Africa are battling with hunger and poverty when we are a rich country, and we are only poor because the current government has chosen the wrong policies and grossly mismanaged our public finances.
Get help registering to vote at check.da.org.za. Register to rescue South Africa.